Good morning. Good morning. As you know, we plan to hear from Austin this morning, so let me pray, and then I'll turn the time over to him. Father in heaven, we are grateful for the morning you've blessed us with, grateful for the opportunity to come together as your children and praise you, thank you, and honor you. Thankful, too, that you allowed Austin to have the experience that he had in another part of the world and sharing you with others. And we just pray now for him and his sharing of that experience with us. Just ask your blessing upon him, allow him to have clarity of thought and just boldness in what you have to share through him here this morning. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Good morning. So I'll just talk about a little bit. I'll just go through the slides and explain them all. But while I was out there, I was involved in, I'd say, 3 different main ministries, which the one was in Tarapoto, which was the biggest city we were in. That one has like 300,000 people. It's a big city. And then the other one was on a farm where it's like a Bible school farm. So Shawi people come from upriver to learn the Bible at this farm. And then the third one was just going out to the villages upriver or driving sometimes by car into the mountains. But those were the 3 main things that we did while we were out there. Let's see, this first one is, that's right as I got there. Flew into Tarapoto. And then I don't even remember if I spent the night or just went straight to the farm, which is 3 hours away. So I remember landing, and then I can't remember if I spent the night or not, but we went straight to the farm, which the picture on the right is their little church building or where they do all their classes and all their lessons. But the farm is, Shawi people come from upriver, and then they can work at the farm to pay for their schooling there, which is cool, so that because they don't really have money. They don't have money, so they can't really pay for it any other way. So they'll work while they're out there. And they do like week-long programs at a time, and then every month they do it for a week or 2. But yeah, that's me drinking a coconut right as I got there. We got cacao from the farm, and then we were able to make our own chocolate, which I had never done that before, so that's cool. I like it with a lot of sugar, but Charity, who has spoken here before, she likes it with like 2 little grains of sugar in it. It's like you can't even taste it. I don't like it, but it's a lot healthier than regular stuff. That was back in Tarapoto. We got to pretty soon after we got back to Tarapoto, after a week at the farm. They had a big dinner. It was the Grand Cena, which translates to big dinner, or great dinner. So we had that, which is they do it once a year at their church. They invite the whole neighborhood and anyone basically. So we had about probably 100 and some people, maybe 150 people at the dinner, which is cool. It's just a good opportunity to feed a lot of people and share the gospel. So I got to help serve at that. I was in charge of coffee. They drink coffee at night a lot, which is interesting, but they stay up super late, so it makes sense. That's us in a motor car. We had me and their whole family in one motor car, which should only sit about 2 or 3 people, but we fit us all in there, which you can see Josh's arm like this. He can barely fit us 3 in there, but with 2 kids on their laps too. There were a couple times where, depending on what type of motor car you get, they go faster. So if you see a Honda, you know that it's a good one and that it can make it up the hills. But I don't think the other Chinese brands could have made it up the hills with all 5 of us. That's the youth group. I helped out with that while I was at their church CBT in Tarapoto. That's the those are kind of the regular people that show up. They don't have a huge youth group, but sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So I got to help speak at that, and then I got to help speak at some young adults programs and some men's Bible studies and prayer groups and stuff like that. So that's what I was involved with while we were in the big city. That's just going fishing. We didn't catch anything all day, so we decided to put some beef jerky on the line. We still didn't catch anything. And then on the right is every Thursday they do soccer. They rent out a place, a field, and they play soccer. So every Thursday that I was in town, I would go play, and I'm not very good, but it was still fun. Yeah. This was the first village I went to while we were out there. We got there by truck, and it's called Cachipampa. That's me riding on the truck up there. They just kind of fill the back of a truck, and they have bars that everyone can hold on to. And then there was probably 8 of us in the back of a truck driving up a really rough road. They actually built the road last year, I think. It's a new road because the people of the village, they kept asking the government to build them a road, and the government would be like, okay, we'll build you a road, and then they wouldn't build them a road. So they decided to collectively save up all their money that they would make and build the road themselves. So they rented a tractor they saved up a bunch of money, rented a tractor, and got the road built. It's really bad. It's a really bad road, but they have a road now. So as of like a year ago or 2 years ago, they had to walk hours and hours and hours back into town. Yeah, that's the group photo with everyone. It's the most beautiful village I went to out of all of them. It's just like, it's a super small village. It's just the square you see behind us. That's the soccer field in the middle. And then just houses all around it. And then just beautiful green mountains all up. And it's a big elevation, so the clouds would come through. It was beautiful there. That was the first meal I had while I was there, was armadillo soup. I was warned about this meal by Joy Miles. She said that she had this when she went to Tarapoto, and she hated it. It wasn't that bad. There wasn't a lot of meat to have on it. You could see the shell there. There was a little bit of meat on the other side, but mostly just broth, and it tasted like chicken broth or something. I don't know. It wasn't bad. The drink on the right was worse than the armadillo soup, in my opinion. It's called chicha, which is corn in Quechua, which is they don't speak Spanish there. Peru speaks Spanish. I found out a lot of people didn't know that, and asked me what language I spoke. But Peru speaks Spanish mainly, but Quechua is what this village spoke, and that's a corn drink. And when we first got there, they just handed me a bowl of this corn drink, and you basically expect you to finish it right in front of them. They just hand you the bowl, wait for you to chug the whole thing, and then they fill it up and give it to the next person. So, yeah, that one was rough, but I don't know. And it was funny, once I had been there for a little bit, I found I liked when some people made it rather than other people. I don't know, I had preference in my chicha. Some of it was better than others. That was while we were there. The last day, we did a baptismal service. When we got there was, I think, four people that claimed to be Christian. And they don't have a church. They kind of use a community building for their church services with, however, 4 people. But when they see white people there, the whole village comes. So we had a church service. I got to share the gospel. Josh got to share the gospel. There was a lot of gospel sharing, and the whole village really got to hear it, because that's about all of them right there. And so we did a bunch of services while we were there for probably 3 days. And then at the end, we were there on a Sunday, so we did a baptismal service, and there was I think probably 13-year-old girl that got baptized, and then there was this lady and her sister, and then her sister's husband too. So there was 4 people that got baptized. And then on the left, there's a glare right there. That's a audio Bible in Quechua that we were able to give to her. We didn't have, I think we had 2 of them, so we gave 2 away. But she got one of them, which was cool. They, every day, or that we were there at least, they have an announcement building, which is like a microphone attached to a megaphone on top of a roof that just kind of blasts announcements throughout their village whenever they have one. And while we were there, they play like sermons, so they didn't have an audio Bible to play over, so they would play sermons, but we don't know what they're saying. Josh doesn't know, it's in Quechua. So it's like, I don't know if this is a good sermon or not great teachings, but they would have sermons playing over their announcement thing the whole day. This was actually, we were really busy right as I got there. We went to the farm, then we went to Cachipampa, and then we got back and we went to leave to another village, upriver. This one wasn't up in the mountains, this one was up river. That is Charity and Gracie and Jaira saying goodbye to me and their dad. They're crying in that picture and holding up the I love you because they were pretty devastated that their dad was going to leave for a week. So that's them saying goodbye. And then that's right as we get to the village in like a offshoot of the river. It's super cool. It's like there's jungle all around you, and you just come up to this river in a peke peke, which is a small boat that's not very comfortable. Because as you can see, it doesn't really have backrests. It's just, if you want to be comfortable, you kind of have to lay down as much as you can. This village was called Soledad. It's one of the villages of a guy that works on the farm that I told you about. The farm is called Munichis, but one of the guys that works there full time. This is his village called Soledad. Right as we got there, they gave me some sugar cane, like for me personally, which was really cool. Like, I've never been presented a gift from someone in a village, and they gave something to each of us that were visiting. It was cool. And then that was the first meal we ate. I don't remember the name of that fish, but we ate fish and chicken and more chicken. But they fed us a lot of food, and it was really hard because sometimes you're not that hungry, but they keep giving you more food. It was funny. I don't know if this was the first meal, but one of the meals we were eating, and Josh was like getting through his piece of chicken. He was just starting, and he was like, man, I'm going to struggle to get through this meal. And then they come out with some fish, and they're like, who wants fish? And he was like, oh, I just talked about how full I am. How am I going to do this? So he was able to decline the fish. And then, like, seconds later, someone comes up from behind him with, like, the biggest piece of hen meat, like a leg, just slaps it down on his dish. And he was sweating. But he got through it the best he could, I guess. But, yeah, there was a couple times I didn't know if I could do it because I was just so full. That was one thing that we ate. I think it was called kawadi. That's a foot. You can clearly see it's a foot. And that wasn't my piece of food. I think that was Josh's. I had more of a more edible looking piece. But I thought that was really cool. I had to take a picture of that. Those are some very defined toes. Yeah, that was just us hanging out. We got there, and I wasn't really prepared at this point with anything, but they told me, the guy that we were with, his name's Aber. He's actually not in that picture. That's Rodolfo back there. But Aber told me, he was like, I'll get tonight's session. Can you get tomorrow morning? And I was like, okay. I guess I'll prepare something, because I had nothing prepared. I had no idea he wanted me to preach in the next morning. and I had no cell service, and I had my Bible and a notebook, and that's all I had. So I was pretty stressed about that. The whole reason we were in this village was because their church was kind of divided. I don't know the details on it, but there just was a lot of unforgiveness of themselves and of other people in their congregation. That's the church on the right. And so Josh was like, well, we can't, it's going to be tough to prepare a whole message right now, but just give your testimony, but add more to it. So I gave my testimony, but it was like forgiveness themed, kind of targeted at their problems in their church. So that's what I did the next morning. There's me on the left sitting down, so I would tell a sentence in English, and then Josh would tell a sentence in Spanish, and then Rodolfo would tell a sentence in Shawi, which was the language that they spoke. So I had it double translated. So after I said a sentence, I had like 5 minutes to think about what I was going to say next. So I kind of liked it. It was kind of nice. I could gather my thoughts, make sure I was going to say what I wanted to say. But it was one of the coolest experiences ever, being able to hear myself echoed twice. Yeah, this was us on the way back. You could see all the plantains in the back. Those were gifts for us. We were filling the boat with gifts before we left. They just had so much that they gave us. It was cool. It was really cool. Then this little boy, his name is Clayder. He was pushed out of a tree while we were there, and he broke his ankle. So we had to take him back to town to go to a bone doctor that could fix his ankle, because it was bad enough he couldn't walk on it. So he would kind of just stand there on one foot and wait for someone to pick him up and move him somewhere. But there were these kids playing in a tree, and then there's this little naked boy that would walk around, and he was really mean, and he would just yell at people and push the other kids, and he was just a mean kid. But you found out that his dad kind of abandoned him when he was little and just left the village, so he didn't have a father figure, and that really messed up his childhood and made him a mean person. I guess his mom probably didn't punish him, but so while they were in a tree, he pushed him out of the tree, and that's why he has a broken ankle, because he got pushed out of a tree. So we took him back, and it was a fun boat ride home. It wasn't really comfortable, but he would tap me on the shoulder and point at random things on the way there. We couldn't speak the same language, but he would just kind of tap me. He was behind me. He would tap me, just point over at something. I'd be like, it's a tree. That was back in Tarapoto at an overlook. It was super pretty. You could see the city out in the left, kind of. But that was me on the hand of Peru. Also near Tarapoto, not quite in Tarapoto, but we went to a restaurant that was outside of Tarapoto. It was like at a hotel-looking thing, and there was a tree outside with a bunch of big fruits on it, like that I'm holding. That's called a wingo. And it was hanging on a tree outside, and Charity just went in and asked if she could take one. So she did, and I found out that it's not even edible. They just wanted to use it to make like a bowl, so that's what we did with it. And then on the right, those are chicken hearts. That was at the local restaurant in Chicopee, which is closely connected to family. Delwyn and Teichi, it's Teichi's mom. I'm not sure if you know who those people are, but it's Teichi's mom and dad that run this restaurant, so we would eat there all the time. It's called In Chicopee, and the food is ridiculously cheap there. It's 10 soles, which, for anything, which is probably a little under $3 USD. So everything was super cheap. So you pay 10 soles and you get a soup and a rice, a meat of your choice, and a drink. It's so cheap for like $2.75. So we would eat there a lot because it was cool. And the chicken hearts were really good, actually. I was kind of wondering. I mean, I wasn't afraid to try it, but I figured it wouldn't be good. But it was good. That's what we did with the Wingo. And we were doing ice. We were doing polar plunges. We went to the store and got a bunch of ice and cut out the side of a barrel or one of those things, and then we're doing ice bath things. And then he was wearing the bull as a helmet. So, on the left, that was a village outside of Tarapoto, probably a couple hours by car. We were tearing down a church because they were going to build a new church, but I thought it was funny. He was like, we're going to go help tear down a church. So all that building to the left got torn down that day. Yeah, we did a lot of work that day, just destroying a church. Yeah. This was back at the farm. We went back and forth so much, and it's like the road it's 3 hours to get back or forth, and it's a windy road through the mountains. It's not fun, but we did a lot. We went back and forth a lot, because Josh and Charity are committing to spend 50% of their time in Munichis at the farm this year, because they want to pursue that more and see if that's where God leads them. So they're committing half their time at least to be at the farm versus just in Tarapoto, going out from there. So they have a house in a town by the farm. But that was us on the left. We were going to build a fence for Charity's garden. So we went into the jungle and cut down trees. That was super cool. On the right, those are bullet ants, which was crazy to see like right in front of me, because I've heard stories about bullet ants and how their bite will make you have fevers and you can go to the hospital and stuff like that. But there was I screenshotted a video, so that's why it's such a bad picture of the bullet ant. But I took a video and they were just crawling all over this tree. There were hundreds of them, and it was just like, if you step right in that and they bite you, you're going to the hospital. Like, it's just scary. So we were cutting down trees right next to that. So they were like, be very careful. Don't do that. On the left, that's at the farm. That's capybara. I got to eat it. It tastes like jerky almost. It's a really rough meat, and it's really stinky. Like, it tastes really bad. It wasn't good. At first you're like, oh, okay, it tastes like beef jerky or something, and then it leaves this just stinky flavor. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just stinky. It's not good. On the right, that is a ant, not a bullet ant. It's called Sikisapa. That means big butt in Quechua, but that's what they call, that's their name, because they have a big butt. And they make a lot of snacks out of these. They just package these ants, and I don't know what they do to them, but they have like a smoky flavor. They're not bad at all. They're really good. You just have to remove the wings, because they have wings on them. And yeah, they're good. I enjoy them. We got to eat some that they went out and hunted at the farm. I had eaten them before, but it was just from vendors on the street. But at the farm, they were like, "Oh, we just got these this morning." I'm like, whoa, that's cool. That's on the left at the farm in their church building. We did communion with Coke and hot dog buns. So that's what we had communion with. I thought that was really cool. I had to take a picture of that. On the right, that is their hot oatmeal milk drink. I don't know. It was really good. I thought it was one of the best drinks I had there. It wasn't a juice, but it was like a breakfast thing that they would have. They call it Quacker, which sounds like Quaker, as you could tell. That's why, because it came over with Quaker oats, and they've always called it. So now any oatmeal hot drink is called Quacker. I don't know if I have. Yeah, I don't have any pictures, but at the farm they do a lot of teaching, orality, because that's how they learn best, is through stories. So that's what I did a lot of. I would have to memorize a Bible story and then present it at the farm. And then you tell it once, and then you maybe to even tell it twice, and then you have them act it out, tell it a third time, and then you ask one of them to tell it too. So you really get that story into their heads so that they can go back to their Shawi village and tell it to their people there. Yeah, so you got to hear it a couple times in Spanish and then a couple times in Shawi. It was cool, but it really just gets it into their brain. This was like a water bus, but it was a boat. But we got on it at 5 p.m. to go to a different village. Where are we going? We were going to, I don't remember the name of the village right now, but it was far away, and that's why we got on this water bus. So we went from Tarapoto, which isn't really connected to the river. You go all the way, we drove to Yurimaguas, which is the town next to the farm. So it was 3 hours of traveling. Then we got on this boat at 5 p.m., because that's when it leaves every night. And we go all through the night. It's a 12-hour boat ride up the river. And then we got on this one stop. I don't know, it just stopped at this place. We got off, found a taxi to another smaller boat, one of those peques. And then we got on that for another couple hours, and then we did that I don't know. We were traveling for 18 hours to get to this one village, and yeah, I was exhausted. I slept on this boat a lot because I needed it. But, let's see. Oh yeah, on this boat, it was cool. We stopped at one place to, I don't know, maybe we were refueling or something, but all the people of this village that we stopped at, or this town that we stopped at, they would all line up to come get on the boat and sell the people that were on the boat, like food and snacks and stuff. So when we stopped at this stop, they were all lining up, waiting to come out and sell us stuff. So we stopped, and then they all like swarm inside the boat. They go down and down, yelling out whatever they have, chicken and rice or ants, I don't know, whatever snacks they had. So they would come up and down, and I got a meal because I was super hungry. So I got some chicken and rice and whatever else, and then Josh didn't eat his, so I got 2 meals, which I was super happy about because I hadn't eaten in a long time. So this was all to get to this one place. Man, I really can't remember the name. This one's doesn't seem like a hard one, but yeah, I can't remember the name of this village that we were at. It's like disconnected from everything, and it's really small, but it's super, like they have paved roads. I got there and you wouldn't think it's a village, but I guess it counts. I don't really know what a village counts as, but that's, sorry, it's really glary. That's Josh. We're teaching more orality stuff at this one place it was actually another mission organization that goes out here, so we just went out there with them because they were going anyway. I got to teach a story, Josh got to do a few stories, and it was in 2 different languages that I hadn't heard. So I got to hear, while I was in Peru, I got to hear, I think, 4 new languages that I had never heard before. I got to hear Quechua, Shawi, Achwar, and Kandoshi. So those were 4 different languages that I didn't even know existed. And I got to have them translated, so it was cool. I got to do another double translation here. I don't have a picture of me doing it, but just imagine I'm to the left of Josh, and I would say a sentence, and then Josh would say it, and then this other guy who knew the local language would say it. So it was cool to see different cultures, because they're super different. Like, we were at this conference thing, or this Bible learning thing, and there was 2 different cultures that were there. There was the Achwar and the Kandoshi, and I don't remember which is which, honestly, but one of them was like less shy, less reserved, like more out there. They'll answer the questions, they'll get involved, but the other one was totally opposite. Like, they were just to themselves. They wouldn't say a word. You had to really try to get them to participate, which is what Josh would do. He was good at that. He would just call on people and tell them that they have to answer the question or come up and tell a story. Yeah, there was one guy from the Achwa or the Kandoshi, I can't remember, Josh was telling me about him, and he used to be a witch doctor for his village, because that's super common. Even in villages that they're Christian, they don't see how those things have to be separated. It's just, oh, we have a witch doctor, and we're Christian now. It just goes hand in hand. I don't know. It's not something they need to get rid of, but this guy was a former witch doctor, changed. They know it's wrong. But it was super cool to see how his like native dress, he had like a headband it was like with cool designs in it, but Josh told me that he used to be a witch doctor, so I thought that was crazy because I'd never seen anything like that. That's deer on the right. I don't know if you can see the hair, but there's a lot of it. That was some of the best meat I've ever eaten. Like, oh, it was amazing. Yeah, I was pretty happy about that meal. I almost got an opportunity to eat monkey there. I didn't, because Josh was sleeping and we were late to lunch, so all they had left was chicken. But but I was pretty excited to eat monkey because I saw them cooking it. There was this big monkey that they were roasting, and I was like, oh, that's for lunch? I was super excited. But then Josh went up and we kind of took naps, but Josh napped for a really long time, so I was kind of just waiting for him. And then by the time he woke up, we were late and we didn't get any monkey. But the deer was good. That's a monkey that I saw that wasn't being eaten. It was just kind of chilling outside someone's hut, and yeah, I don't know. I took a picture of it. That's a really neat picture. And then Josh went to take a picture of it, and it started peeing on Josh. So that was funny. Yeah, but they just have it on a little leash so it doesn't escape. This is the video? Oh, that's too bad. Oh well. I could just describe the video to you. Well, so on the way back from this village, man, I really want to remember the name of this village. I can't remember it, but oh well. On the way back, we were like, we'd really rather not spend 15 hours on the water and getting back to town. So Josh was calling around trying to get a plane back. So he was calling this plane company. He kept calling them, and then they answered finally. They called him back or whatever, and they were like, we have a plane leaving tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. So if you guys can be here, then you can get on it. It's a little Cessna. If you can be here, then we'll take you back to Yurimaguas. So Josh was like, we can't make 6:30. He was teaching a session, I think, at 6 or something. So he would have to finish his session in. No, it wasn't possible because we had to get on a boat for an hour too. So he couldn't. So he was like, if he could wait till 7:30, we'll try to be there 7:30 or 8. Like, wait for us. So like, after a lot of convincing, I was stressed. I was like, please get it. I did not want to sit on that boat ride all the way back home. But he called them, and they were like, okay, we'll wait till 7:30, and then we're leaving. So Josh finished he actually had 2 sessions to teach. He taught them both in like an hour instead of, they were each supposed to be an hour long, so he split them both in half and just put them together in one. But he taught them really quickly. He was like, okay, we can get back to catch this plane. So we got on a boat. It went super smoothly. We didn't have to wait for anyone to be available with a boat to take us out. We just paid the guy, and then he took us an hour upriver. We got to this town, got in a taxi, got into town, and then we got to the place, and she was like, oh, the plane left 30 minutes ago. Oh. So that meant that we had to wait in this town, Santa Lucia, until 5 p.m. We were there at 7:30 a.m. So we were like, oh, we're gonna have to wait till the water bus leaves at 5 p.m. So we just kind of sat in this little, I don't even know, it wasn't an airport, it was a plane booking building. There's like one room where you can book a plane. And so we kind of just waited there, and Josh would talk to the lady there, talk to her all day, like, you know, you can make a lot of money off us if you just sent a plane back here. Because it was supposed to be like 300 soles per person to get on a plane, which is under $100. So we were like, that's so cheap for a it would have been a 35-minute flight versus the 12 hours on a boat. So we were like, oh, I really want to get on that plane. So we just killed time all day waiting for the boat. We sat in the little plane booking area. They had Wi-Fi there, so we could message people or walk around the town. And we got lunch there, and yeah, it was. We were just trying to kill time. So the video was just me messing with a little top, like it's called a trompo, which is a top. Basically, it's on a string, and you like throw it, and you pull the string, and it spins. But that was just a video of me doing it. But I guess we don't have that. Yep. So at the end of the day, there was a pastor that walked in to the building. We were there all day. It was probably 4 p.m. And a pastor walks in, and it's just like, I have to get my friend to Yuri Magros right now because he has diabetes and it's an emergency. So they're like, okay. And they're like, oh, that means we'll have 2 extra seats on the plane for you and Josh. I was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, that was a miracle, and I was super grateful to God that we didn't have to go on another, 15 hours. So we got on this Cessna right here. I still didn't believe it was real until I was actually on the plane, because I had forgotten my passport. So you can't usually fly without a passport, even on this plane. But Josh said that it's hit or miss. Sometimes they check you, sometimes they don't. So I got on the plane, and they didn't ask for any passports or anything. And then we flew for 35 minutes, and then we were there. And we were actually able to get back to Tarapoto that night because we were there so early. We didn't have to, because we would have been on a boat through the whole entire night. Probably gotten there at, I don't even know, sometime in the morning. But this made it so much better. I was super happy. Let's see, that's the runway right there. It's just, dirt. And when the plane's about to land, we were just waiting there at the airport, which is like a roof, and a lady with a laptop on a little wooden desk. That's the whole airport, and there's no security or anything. When the plane's about to land, it's funny, they kick all the kids playing soccer on the runway strip. They kick all of them off so that the plane can land, and then once the plane lands, the kids go back out and play soccer because it's a nice flat area for them. So that was something that wouldn't fly in the U.S. Let's see. Yep, that's us on the plane. I thought it was crazy how many trees there actually are. I didn't realize how in the jungle we were. But it's like if you've ever flown over the ocean and it's just ocean, that's what it is with the trees. It's just trees for miles and miles and miles. And you occasionally will look down and you'll see a little hut in the middle of it. And it makes you wonder how they got there. Like someone's there. And there's no connection to any civilization. It's just a hut in the middle of these thick trees. Oh yeah, you can see the guy that was being flown with his breathing tube. And then there's me in the back, and Josh. Josh got to fly in the co-pilot seat. That was cool. We got back, and we were probably in Tarapoto for a little bit before this. But actually, no, this was towards the end of my trip. We went back to Cachipampa, the first one that I showed you. We went back there, and this was I think it's called the head of the monkey. It's a rock that just looks like a monkey head almost, and it was kind of weird because they use it as an idol. So it was weird to see an idol that people sacrifice money to and drugs. Like they just put it in the mouth. You could see stuff in the mouth of the monkey. They just put their money in there, and they also put drugs in there too, and just you could see some beer bottles below. Like it was weird. It was kind of dark. It was like that's an idol that people worship right in front of me. Yeah, so we hiked up to it to see it. Actually, we were with a guy that wasn't a believer, and he took us to this monkey. I don't even know that we knew where we were going, but we were just following him on the way there. This is a waterfall we went to hike to while we were in Cachipampa. They were like, do you want to go on a short little hike? And Josh was like, he said short, but it's not very short because we were hiking for 2 hours, and then it turns out, I think it was 4 hours one way, and then that meant it was 4 hours back. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4. It was a long, long, long time. I was not prepared for that because I was in, actually, these flip-flops right here. That's what I was wearing. And it was steep. This river was way in like a valley. So you had to hike straight down through thick jungle. And actually, there wasn't a path. Turns out he was making the path as we were going. He was like, let's go see a waterfall. And then he brought his machete and was just making the path as we went, because he knew the way, and he did know the way. So we got to this waterfall and swam in it a little bit. It was cool. And then the way up was so much worse, because had to hike all the way up. That's me with the kids. They did a drawing competition. I got to judge their drawings. They let me be the judge. I forget what the theme was. Something about God, I guess? Because I see some crosses and some hearts. I remember someone drew God's heart. So, yep, that was the theme. I'm trying to think. In this village, oh yeah, I didn't mention, this was the same village that I drank the chicha, the corn drink, at, and we didn't have water while we were there. We forgot to bring any bottled water or anything, so we can't drink water. So I don't like coffee at all, and we were there for 3 days, and I drank probably 10 cups of coffee while I was there, because it's coffee or chicha. Those were our 2 drink options. And so I drank a lot of coffee, but thankfully it's super watered down. It's nothing like American coffee. They don't put creamer in it. They don't really have access to dairy products. So they don't put creamer in it. It's just super watered down, and then they put sugar in it. The whole pot has sugar. It's not even an option to drink it black. They don't think to, because why would you? It's so bitter and gross. But yeah, the whole pot super watered down. So I actually really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot, so I didn't mind it. Let's see, I gotta wrap up here. This was, oh yeah, we got the van stuck in the mud, so we had to kind of hop on the back and add a little weight and bounce on it to get it to go. So we got the van stuck a couple of times, actually, so that was just a picture I took. That was them preparing lamb. That was one of the best meals I ate while I was at the farm. It was so good. They went out and killed a lamb and prepared it for us, and it was delicious. This was my going away party. They do this is a really common thing. Actually, I went to a different going away party too. They celebrate. I like their birthday parties there too. Like they just celebrate everything, and they have everyone from the church comes. Like some of these people I wasn't even close to, like, at all. Like the guy on the bottom left, his name's Cesar. He was one of the youth leaders, kind of, one of the music leaders. But it was cool. There was like a time where people just stood up and were like saying nice things about me, and I was like, I went and I said a few words, like, yeah, a thank you almost. and then everyone else started getting up one at a time and would tell a story or say something nice, and I was like, that's cool. That's super friendly. So yeah, like that guy at the bottom left, Cesar, he got up and talked for a couple minutes. Just like I don't know him that well. I barely know him, but he was still, yeah, it was super friendly and nice in that way. Yeah, this was the day I left. We went to a zoo, which was a few animals in some cages. It was cool. I got to see a tiger. And that's the plane. Actually, that's the way into Cuzco, because I was, my flight out of Tarapoto was at night, so I got on a flight at 8:45 p.m. and then flew through the night, or actually it was a short flight. And then slept, met my dad, met up with my dad, and we went to Cuzco, and then the Machu Picchu area. That's a guinea pig, fried guinea pig. You could see his teeth and his head up there. He's holding the pepper in his mouth. And then that's us on a different hike. Before we went to see Machu Picchu at the end, and that's us at Machu Picchu. We got some articles of clothing. Yep, I think that's all. Yep, it's 10:15. Perfect. Thank you.